I'm so happy with the procedure my wife had done, as every part of her feels so tight and firm. Embalming really was the right option. I want to share with you the most terrifying sentence that I ever found on the internet. I heard that they're killing him off this season. The comment read under a video of me sleeping that I found on a snuff film website. The policeman said, if I just sign this piece of paper, I can go home. I hope this helps them find the guy who did this. My best friend, with a deadpan expression I'd never seen before, just told me I shouldn't come to school tomorrow. My confusion turned to stunned realization as I replied, "That's strange. I was about to tell you the same thing." You need to poke holes in the top so they can breathe. People watched in horror as new stars appeared in the sky. Attention passengers, I would like to remind you that thanks to post 9/11 regulations, the cockpit door is bulletproof and nearly indestructible. However, the co-pilot did not prove to be nearly indestructible, and you all have my whore of a wife to thank for your untimely deaths. When I traveled to 2005, I told my dad he would cause the deaths of 40 babies and begged him to stay home. When I returned to 2025, I was glad to find him alive and vowed never to tell him that he was actually meant to save them at the cost of his life. Case closed, I said to my partner in crime. I had to saw the arms and legs off just so the whole body could fit. Someone must have a secret admirer, said my new coworker when a dozen red roses arrived for me. I started to panic when I read the note, signed by my ex, that simply said, "Found you." When I was 11, the psychic at the state fair gasped while tracing my palm line and begged me not to go outside on my 43rd birthday. 10 years later, pinned between the summit and the impending snowstorm, I can't remember why I ever let a $7 carny make me believe myself invincible. "You've lost so much weight. Keep it up, honey," my mother tells me with a smile on her face. She won't leave the bathroom until I vomit at least one more time. I showed people a live feed of the girl and asked, take $1 and watch her get shot once with a nail gun, or double it and pass it on to the next person. I learned that compassion is worth less than $100. Our experiments were successful. The Lord came down once more, the priest said, as the now inhabited corpse rose from the altar. In a sound resembling 100 screams, the being softly said, "Up, actually. But I thank you all the same." He handed out black envelopes at the funeral, telling each mourner it contained the deceased's final words for them. By nightfall, half the town had killed the other half over what those letters revealed. "Call this number," the doctor whispered to my wife, "and for $100,000, they can find your husband a transplant liver as soon as tomorrow." Later that evening, I overheard my wife asking someone on the phone how much she could get for a fresh set of kidneys or a human heart. When the fortune teller told me that the thing I saw as my child will kill me. I just didn't have kids. Looking at the bite mark my rabies-infected dog gave me, I realized why her wording was so weird. The young coroner smiled lightly as he ruled the young woman's death as one from natural causes. He made sure not to take note of the small prick under her toenail, something he was grateful no one had noticed. My son's principal called me to the school to discuss a drawing he had made. When I arrived, I was met with police officers showing me the drawing he had made of his teacher dead in the same way she was found. "Daddy, there's a little girl on my wall that says she's cold." I shrugged. "That's impossible. Her body's underneath the floorboards." I stood outside my bully's house with many get-well balloons in hand after he mentioned his mother's at-home life support during class today. I smiled as I released the Mylar balloons into the power lines that fed their home with electricity. As he sucked greedily on her big toe, he realized he didn't even know her name. "Good evening, Edith," he said, reading the tag. When the little kid who had been sick for a long time found a magic lamp, she wished to be healthy, and the genie gave her a magic pill. "It will make you immune to the stuff your big brothers are adding to your food," the genie said. As I see my daughter's name come up on my phone as I pick it up, I'm confused by the pause after saying hello. A man's voice says, "Sir, I'm sorry to reach you this way, but we found this number under the contact Dad." "Did you lock the doors, honey?" my wife asked as I climbed into bed for the night. "Yes, dear," I assured her, kissing her cheek while telling her there's no need to worry. They couldn't get out if they tried. My dad made a deal with the devil, and we've lived a life of luxury all my life. Today I learned the soul you sell doesn't have to be your own. She grabbed her voodoo doll, ready to inflict pain on her worst enemy. Dragging a pen slowly across the doll's arm, she savored every moment as a red line appeared on her own. My husband says I tend to talk in my sleep, so I set up a recorder to prove he's wrong. When I played back the recording in the morning, I heard my own voice telling me to stop recording it. I told my sister to guess where Mom and Dad are hiding in the house. Anywhere she picks is going to be at least a little correct. "Please no," I begged my grief-mad husband. "You still have time to let me go." But he couldn't hear me anymore, so I had to watch him pull the trigger. My sister was always first. She learned how to ride a bike first, got her license first, got married first, and now she announced her pregnancy first. I decided to help her a little bit and added a small surprise to her cup of tea I was making. Now she will be the first one to miscarry too.